Everybody, welcome back, and we're looking at what is this? May Barrel and Blade. And so here we have our Maze Barrel and Blade. Again, excited to get into this here. I've been liking Barrel and Blade. Not all of the items in these boxes are spectacular, but they're all pretty good. I'm on the whole, I'm much happier that we switched to Barrel and Blade as opposed to the SHTF. We are getting much better equipment out of this, and some of this stuff is actually stuff that I never would have thought about getting. So I recently put up the gear pack we got. I was actually, I'm mixed on that one. It had some cool stuff in it. I was thinking about getting that escape wrist bracelet, so that was kind of cool. But anyway, enough on that. Go watch that video. But here, let's get into this Barrel and Blade. Get that cut open. My address appeared. My address was on this box like 58 times, so I had to get it all off there. At any rate, we're getting into this, and I'm using. I'm gonna do a video about this multi-tool. This could be like a really good budget multi-tool. We're still doing some testing on it, but so far I'm pretty happy with this multi-tool. And we'll talk about that in another video, though. We'll give this little review. But for now, let's get into this box here. This is Maze Barrel and Blade. Alright. Alright, so if you're new or this is your first time, Barrel and Blade has two levels. They've got your fire team and your recon, right? Your fire team is like $50, your recon is like $100 or $60 and $110 or whatever. And then they also have like additional stuff. You can get like the Chow line, the Knife of the Month Club. I don't do Knife of the Month Club because I have a lot of knives, and we get knives like in Barrel and Blade, we get knives in Gear Pack, and yeah, knives are cool, but I'm more into just, it's like I don't do the Gear Pack's Ultimate because again, knives, and it's like my knives I like to have, like, the one I have is really good, and it's like I buy knives for that. These are just kind of fun knives to get. But one thing I do subscribe to is the Chow line, and this month we have two of these ReadyWise adventure meals. These are the strawberry granola crunch, so we're getting some breakfast in. That's really cool. These right here, I'll be honest, the Chow line itself is like $30. And so it brings this whole thing up to a much higher cost point. But I would not recommend getting the Chow line by itself, because for what you pay for these two meals at $30, plus shipping handling, you could buy 4 of them online, like on Amazon, and not pay shipping. So by themselves, these are not a good deal. However, when you add it to the actual like recon level that we have, it kind of like balances out. So we're still at least breaking even on what we get, if not making a little, saving a little bit of money. But I'm glad to see this is strawberry granola crunch, rolled oat granola with strawberries and non-fat milk. So basically, you just tear a pouch, remove oxygen absorber, add 6 ounces of water. You might need to add a little bit more if, depending on the consistency. You stir well, you eat and enjoy. These freeze-dried meals, these things are great to have in any like survival type bag, like your 72-hour bag. You throw in a couple of meals, you throw in some of your survival bars, and then and these don't weigh anything, and it gives you something that's more filling and can be a morale boost as well. So those are pretty cool. And now let's get into our recon level. The first thing I see in here, we have an X100 survival lighter from Tactica. So that's pretty cool. Heavy, definitely. It has a lot of weight to it. Pretty heavy. You scan for, so you can scan here for a lifetime warranty. Designed for the unexpected. Cast zinc construction. Emergency fire starter stored inside. So, basically, so you got a fire tab, and it's infused with wax in the bottom, and then here you have the lighter, and I'm pretty sure that this unscrews. I think the bottom unscrews. I'll look at it here in a minute. Fires. Okay, so screw on waterproof cap, striker wheel, O-ring, cutouts for higher grip, flat base for freestanding, fiber wick, and then of course the fire starter puck is stored inside. Lanyard, carabiner hole. Designed in Australia, made in China. Yeah. So basically, that's all you got. So, but yeah, so you put this in here, and there's an O-ring on here as well as on here. So you're going to, when you screw this down, it's gonna be water. We'll drop this in some water just to make sure it says it's waterproof. So it says screw on waterproof cap. So we'll drop this in a thing of water in another video. We'll give this thing a test out. But the fact that it also is waterproof is good, because then that means that when we get the lighter fluid in here, it's less likely to evaporate. So you can keep your tender dry. You keep your fluid, inside the canister. And this color, they come in orange and silver, I believe. Yeah, so there's the silver one right there. We got the orange one. That's cool, because if you drop this, you're more likely to see this, because it's the bright, orange. So there we are, a tactical survival ladder. These on Amazon, these go for about $30. So this is actually a pretty good item, and this is something that I will probably consider putting into my fire kit. Again, big lighters are best, because you don't lose the fuel, and you still have the strike and everything. But this is a pretty good option too. I'm gonna fill this, and we're going to see how long when I fill this, I'll do the initial review. We'll test it. We'll drop it in water, make sure it's waterproof and all that, and then we're gonna see how long we'll see if because I know that with the trench lighter that we got from SHTF, the fluid evaporated really fast out of that one. We'll see how long. We'll see what the evaporation rate is in this, because evaporation rate is important. Because if you have a lighter that like Zippos are fantastic, they're great collector items, but the fluid evaporates quickly, and so whereas it might have that little bit of wind resistance, but the fluid evaporates, and so it's good for short time stuff, but not really for survival aspect. So we'll see how this stacks up. But that's pretty cool. It's like it's got a little bit of weight to it. That's a $30 item. The survival lighter X100. Like I said, I've seen that on Amazon for like $30. I've been thinking about getting one anyway, so that's pretty cool. All right, so moving on. We got an $80 on Amazon item in here, the Denali 2000. I've looked at these before too. Waterproof spot. I'm gonna set this down for a minute. Still a few items in there. This is the Cyclops Denali 2000 waterproof spotlight and floodlight. 2000 lumens. The floodlight is 500 lumens. Dual light source, spotlight and floodlight. Cree 20 watt LED. Cree 6 watt LED. Waterproof. Floats, powered by rechargeable lithium battery, 7.4 volt, includes 31.5-inch USB-C charging cable. These on Amazon were going to cost you $79.99 plus tax. So that's why I said the items in here, yeah, you may pay a little bit more for this box, but the items are definitely worth it. So get rid of the box there. Here we have the operating instructions in case you don't know how to use a flashlight. It's good to have though. Prevent recharge battery fully before first use. Do not attempt to use spotlight while charging. Doing so may cause damage to the battery. It's good to read this stuff just because there might be things that you don't know, and it's good to know. But anyway, this has got pretty good weight to it. Again, no charge to it yet. So it's got a. You can set it up like that, so you can. Let's see here. I'm assuming that. Oh, that screws tight. It's got a good O-ring in there, so yeah, it probably will. You got a there. You can store stuff in there. Oh, you know what? You can put your cable in there, and then you got a button here to see. It's not charged at all. Here you can. You'll be able to check your radius, and it looks like that it has power bank function. Push the button below. Okay, push the button below to activate the port. When done, pushing the button one more time to turn into the charging function. So you can charge from this as well. So it's not only is it a flashlight, but it's a power bank. So that's really cool. And then this right here, it screws on, keeps it nice and tight, keeps it waterproof. It does have a couple. You put a lanyard on there so you could like hang it. It does have a lock here so you can't accidentally push it. And then we'll charge this up and we'll try it out at night. This definitely looks like something that would be good in I would say in like a car kit. So, and then here's the floodlight. So here's the spotlight and here's the floodlight. So like I said, you can, when you push this out, you can use your floodlight. And then here you get your spot beam. And it comes with a red lens. Yeah, so it goes on the bottom. So you also have your red light. And it just snaps on here. Right? And so covers your spotlight as well as your floodlight. So not too bad. So you got a power bank, you got a 2,000 watt and a 500 watt light. It's for what it is. It's pretty heavy duty. Let's see if there's anything on this like a whistle or anything. Yep. So you got an emergency whistle as well. So you got emergency light, emergency whistle. They do that with a lot of these lanyards. They'll add a whistle to it. So pretty good though. We'll give this a charge and then we'll take it out at night and we'll give it a try. We'll check out the spotlight and everything. And if you look here, you put your cable right in there, which is good because then you have your cable with you, right? So this is pretty good. This is definitely. I know. I just watched Paul's gear review. I watched his, and he got a similar looking light in the SHTF box, but it was by Apex 9. Don't recommend. But yeah, so there you are. We'll give it a charge, and we'll see how. We'll check those lumens out and everything. That's pretty good. And again, this MSRP is on Amazon for roughly, it's $79.99 plus taxes. So you're probably going to pay about $85 to $90 for this. So pretty cool flashlight to get in our box. All right, moving on. All right, this next two, they go hand in hand. From Cold Steel, we have a click and cut folder. And then we also have a 3-pack of blades. So these are the ones that have those replaceable blades. Again, I don't really know how I feel about replaceable blades, as opposed to just, a blade that you can sharpen. So, granted, you can get these blades, like you purchase them, they're much sharper. Oh, and there's a blade there too. So you got 4 blades. Oh, it's not actually, I guess it's not too bad. It is a frame lock. It's kind of lightweight. Blade is removable. Doesn't really say how to remove it. Knives are extremely sharp. Yep, they are. It comes with the straight blade. And these ones, you know what? I actually like these ones better than those other ones. Because those other ones, it's like, you know, it's just like the small piece of blade that fits into the base. And this one, I am not sure how to get it out of there. I'm going to have to look that up before I make a... But, it's not too bad, though. It's got, like, a gritty handle. So, I'm actually, you know what? I like this one a lot better than, say, like, the Gerber one we got that has the drop-in blades. They're just, you know, they're not good. This one I could see having some good practical aspect because it is a full blade. Those other ones are really thin, just like, you know, partial blades. Oh. So yeah, so like these, right? This is the Mossy Oak one that I got. Right? And see these ones here, granted this is a fixed blade, but you know, it's just like a partial blade. These ones are a much thicker blade, and so I think that at the end of the day, with that complete blade, you're going to have a much larger a much larger area to work with to resharpen it. And then these are okay, and then this is just a 3-pack of these serrated blades. So with the knife itself, you get a straight blade and a serrated blade. I'm not really a fan of serrated blades, but they do have their purpose in life. So, so yeah, not too bad. So, and it feels pretty well made. I think that these run. I think these run about $25, $27, you know, dollars on Amazon, and these, you know, they'll be about another $14, $15. So, anyway, all right. So now we move on to the last item, and this is a pretty cool item to see in anything. But we have the Beginner's Guide to Surviving the End of the World, and the price on this is $16.99. It's actually on the back of the book. So, so $17 book. You've got. Let's look at the table of contents real fast here. So, Section 1, the Doomsday Prepping Crash Course. Introduction, the first step is most important, getting your priorities straight from the beginning, having good plans in place. So, it's pretty much like an outline. And then Section 2 is building the ideal bug-out bag. You know, I'm not like a fan of bugging out. I think that your first step should always be bugging in. But on that, you also need to, it's also good to have a bug out bag in case you do have to leave your house for whatever reason. So I think that both things can be true. It's important to have a bug in as well as a bug out plan, because you know it's just like in the military. You're gonna have your primary, you're gonna have your secondary, you're gonna have your tertiary, and you're gonna have your emergency plans. You know, you're always gonna have multiple plans, and I think that it's important to have multiple plans when it comes to any type of SHTF situation. You're gonna want to have your plans for bugging in. You're going to have your plans for bugging out. And, you know, you're going to want to have, like, you know, individual kits. You're going to want to have family kits. You're going to want to have car kits. You're going to want to have house kits. You know, blackout kits, first aid kits, all that type of stuff. I think it's very important, and it's something that you really need to focus on, and the sooner the better. So, so that's it for the Barrel and Blade for the month of May. I'm pretty happy with it. We got a fairly decent knife. It's not a great knife this month, but it is a fairly decent knife. It's one that has practical uses, and it's better than most of the the replaceable blade knives that we've seen. So, and then we've also got a really good flashlight. I've actually been looking into this particular flashlight. These ones here. This one is really good. It has a good weight to it. I've been looking at one of these for like the car, to put into a car kit. You know, I want something that, you know, and I'm always a fan of spot as well as flood. You know, so that way, you know, if you need to make repairs, you don't have to be holding the flashlight. You can set it down and cover your whole area. So, really good flashlight. The lighter's really cool. Of course, we got our 2 breakfasts, but this is really, and this is small enough to like fit into a pack. You know, and there's, it's good to read it, you know, in advance, but having books that you can put into a survival bag, you know, bug out bag, whatever you want to call it, is important, because not just for the knowledge itself, but reading is a way to keep your mind active. So, I'm not sure if I mentioned, but I am continuing the, I am getting the, you know, I've gotten, you know, these books before. This is the Library of American Outdoors Classics Volume 1, and I did pick up Volume 2, which is Woodcraft by Nessmuk. I am trying to put this whole library together. I think I did, because I mentioned I wish they would have kept them the same size. So, you know, that's 1 and 2, and then I've got like random numbers. So I do plan. There's a couple numbers that aren't listed, so I don't know what those books are. But we're going to complete that series as much as we can, because I think that that is an invaluable series to have if, you know, everything really collapses. Because that's knowledge that worked, you know, pre, during, and post the Great Depression. You know, you're talking, you know, the turn of the century. You know, these books, you know, this knowledge is over 100 years old. And it's knowledge that now we don't teach, we don't have, because everything now is so modernized that it's, you know, you can find anything at the touch of a button. So, right, that's it. Let me know what you think. Hopefully you like this video, and you know what? Until next time, keep prepping.